2 people died, 15 were injured. The youngest victim is 12 years old. These are the consequences of a combined air attack by the Russians, which lasted for more than 10 hours in total. During this time, the aggressor state launched more than 450 aerial targets at the territory of Ukraine. Among them were 24 missiles of various types: aeroballistic Kinzhal missiles, caliber cruise missiles launched from the Black Sea, and Kh-101 missiles from Strategic Tu-95 and Tu-160 aircraft. All of them were successfully shot down. These figures were provided by the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. They also destroyed or disoriented 427 enemy drones. These were coming at us from Bryansk, Oryol, Milarovo, Shadolovo, and Primorsko-Aptarsk. Unfortunately, there were confirmed hits from 23 Russian drones. There is destruction in Kiev, Kharkiv, Ivano-Frankivsk, and the region.
The Lukianivska metro station, which was damaged by Russian strikes last night, is now operating as usual. Today, once again, the entrance to the station was damaged. However, by 11 o'clock the metro was operating for both entry and exit. And by noon, traffic on Sikovik-Streltsev Street was fully restored. Buses and trolleybuses were put back into service. The restoration of the vestibule is ongoing. Most of the kiosks and small shops near the station have been completely destroyed. Shops selling street food have been smashed, as well as places selling mobile phones and accessories. It's 5 in the morning at Kiev's Lukyanivka. Today, this metro station was hit by a Shahid drone strike. This is what the station looks like right now. The windows of Lukyanivska metro station. The windows have been smashed before, but this time it wasn't even the glass that got blown out. This time, these boards were blown out. During the day, people usually sell flowers and vegetables from their gardens here. But now, everything looks like this.
We were sheltering. It was a really loud blast.
Were people scared?
Well, kind of.
The metro station in this area is the main shelter. It's a place where a lot of people spend the night regularly. And once again, the entrance here was blown out. This entrance wasn't in use, but the neighboring ones, as you can see, were just destroyed. At that moment, there were people inside and they just ended up in a cloud of fog and dust. The cloud of dust even reached the platforms.
There was nothing to breathe with at all. We had to breathe through shells.
You didn't come to the shelter right away, as I understand it.
We couldn't find the right moment. We live nearby, but we couldn't make it because the Shahids were just flying around like this.
The subway station isn't operating as a metro, but we still go down underground. Monitoring channels advise us to seek shelter. After the second launches from the MiGs, we have to go down into the metro again. Lukyanivska metro station isn't working as a metro, but it is serving as a shelter. Hiri, on the neighboring escalator, shares his feelings from the night.
I was in the metro. I had just come out onto the main alley. So I saw that something hit, and then dust and small debris started flying. Everyone started going down.
I'm walking up the escalator on foot. This is my neighborhood, and I can say that even though we've seen a lot of different things here, tonight was one of the loudest nights. What can you do? Next to the metro station, there's a coffee shop where I always go to check if it made it through the night. I come to this coffee shop every morning after heavy shelling in Kiev because it's a place where the windows are constantly being blown out and they keep getting repaired. Last night was the 6th strike, and as a result, we can see that the windows have been shattered for the 6th time. But the motto of this coffee shop is, we have no windows, but we have unbreakable will. Small shops have been battered. There was even still some glass left here. But after every shelling, we see shards and scattered phones here. No one is surprised anymore by battered stores and shattered windows around here. Oh, the doors have been blown off the cosmetics store again. These large iron sheets landed near the Moscow Patriarchate Church. A fragment of an enemy drone is still smoldering on the road. And here, something is smoking, burning, just ashes, remnants of a Shahid drone, but it's best not to breathe them in, at the very least. In the residential complex, they're just finishing putting out the fire. And these are the consequences of a direct hit on a residential building in the Shevchenkivsky district.
We can see that several apartments have burned out, and a few balconies have been destroyed.
You can see it all for yourself. Those outer rooms over there, you could say they burned out completely. Rescuers are still dousing them with water. It seems to me that people have started to take air raid alerts more seriously and have begun using shelters, which we've been asking them to do for a long time.
Cars were damaged. Debris fell. The children's playground was damaged. Fragments like these are scattered in the yard of the building where the Shahid drone landed.
This isn't the first time this residential complex has been hit. Other sections here were damaged before. There have already been 2 fatalities here, a woman and a man, and they were killed in separate rocket strikes. But today, fortunately, there were no deaths in this complex.
Because there was a fire, and there's a gas pipe right nearby. We were afraid there might be an explosion.
The residents of this building say that it was the building itself that saved them, because it was made not of brick, but of monolith.
The walls held up, and thank God, everyone is alive.
The rescuers are heading to the shelter themselves and advise everyone else to move there too. Once again, there is a threat to the capital. For the umpteenth time this morning, we are forced to go down to the shelter again because of the missile threat. Valentina and Ol are out walking in their pajamas today.
We've already lost count of how many explosions there have been.
The emergency workers are taking a moment to catch their breath. And now the threat is over. It's 7 in the morning in Kiev, and the air raid alert has been lifted. That moment we've all been waiting for all night. They're carrying the dog, Maria, back to the apartment. The owner, Tatiana, is very pleased with the dog's behavior during the shelling.
Her name is Maria, named after the airplane, which is why she's so brave and unbreakable. She would lunge at the Shahids, barking them away, and I think maybe that's what saved us. And honestly, she really loves treats. And, as it turns out today, she really loves life too.
Inga, wrapped in a warm blanket, climbs up to her 6th floor and assures us, we'll get through this too.
Everything will be all right. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes.
From Lukyanivska, Natalia Nahorna, TSN 1+1.
The number of people injured as a result of the overnight strike on the capital has risen to 9, reported the head of the Kyiv City Military Administration, Timur Tkachenko. Drones and missiles flew over Kiev all night long. Debris was falling from the left to the right banks. There were more than 15 direct hits, according to the Air Force. In a Dnipro district, a drone crashed near a kindergarten. The explosion started a fire. Residents tried to put out the pillar of fire themselves before the rescuers arrived, using bottled water, fire extinguishers from cars and apartments. In the Darnitsky district, a supermarket and a volunteer hub burned down completely. Nearby, residential buildings, garages, cars, warehouses with household appliances, and metro stations were damaged. The blast wave also hit a police car whose crew was rushing to a call. How people reacted to the night shelling will be reported next by TSN correspondent Olena Hushchyk.
Darnitsky district, a kindergarten. Videos from everywhere spread across all social networks overnight. There was a huge column of smoke standing right here. And here is the crater, what's left from the Russians, or more precisely, from the Russian drone that crashed into the ground.
It started spinning, and then this. Shahid, either it got disoriented or something, and it just crashed right here, straight into the ground. When it hit, all the windows on our roof shattered everywhere, and that was it, nothing else. That was a terrifying blast.
The fire broke out around 3 in the morning. Residents tried to put out the pillar of fire themselves before the rescuers arrived, using water from bottles, fire extinguishers from cars and apartments.
Yeah, they took all the fire extinguishers from the cars, even from the bomb shelter. They took them from there too.
Were you a bit scared?
Yeah, I kinda was.
The explosion blew out the windows on the upper floors of the nearby apartment building. By noon, all the windows had already been covered with plywood and plastic film.
Here we've already covered everything up. Only Grandma's windows are left.
At this time, more and more people are coming to help at the kindergarten, local residents, staff, parents with children who used to attend. Inside, the walls are scorched by fire, the ceiling is destroyed, and ash still falls on your head. There are piles of debris that used to be children's toys, ruined furniture, the restroom, and toys. In total, more than 100 kids used to come here every day. How long it will take before children can return here is still unknown. The aftermath of the strike is still being assessed. Fragments from Russian drones and missiles are being recorded in almost every district of Kiev. Residential buildings, supermarkets, garages, cars, warehouses, and even metro stations have been damaged. The blast wave even damaged a police car whose crew was rushing to a call. Next to the Darnitsia metro station, a large cosmetics store burned down completely. Nothing survived. Look, you can even see the chains, blackened, still hanging, but something is still left. Nothing survived. Everything was completely burned out.
The store burned down entirely. Well, the alarm went off when the strike happened. They called us. And then it just kept burning afterwards.
And there was a large volunteer warehouse here. And everyone who works nearby says that people were always bringing clothes, food, and other things here. Really, over there we can see trench candles floating in the water, sewing machines, and a lot of clothes that have burned up. And there are still some fragments left here and there.
Now we have nothing left. Fabric, nets, everything that was prepared to be sent, including equipment, laptops, phones, everything that was supposed to go to the front.
Everything burned down.
People are slowly sorting through the burned things and equipment, trying to joke about how we're holding up, and are already thinking about how to restore what was destroyed. Meanwhile, they read the news, which reveals that the number of people injured in the night strike on the capital has risen to 9. And the desire to top disappears immediately.
So what now? Now that's it.
Olena Hushchyk, Roman Rapidi, TSN 1+1.
The most massive attack on Ivano-Frankivsk since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. The enemy launched a combined strike on the city and its outskirts with shahids and missiles. It is known that 4 people were injured, including an 11-year-old boy. TSN correspondent Alapa will tell you more about the condition of the injured and the destruction caused by the Russians.
The 4 injured are residents of this house in one of the suburban villages near Ivano-Frankivsk, a married couple and their 2 sons, aged 11 and 25. The injuries are not serious. The doctors provided them with the necessary assistance, and now they are all at home.
They're starting to recover. My leg was injured from below, because I don't know, maybe there are fragments, maybe from the glass. The fright was really terrible.
It was a shahid, says the owner of the house. Usually they would hide in the basement. This time, they stayed in their rooms. They think that's why they're alive, since the enemy UAV crashed right next to the house. The explosion blew out a wall in the basement. The whole house is torn apart. Only the bathrooms survived. It's impossible to live here now.
There's a crater from the drone right here, covered with styrofoam. You can see it right here now. There's a hole here. There used to be a root. There was a plum tree growing here. It got uprooted along with its roots.
And tell me, please, why did you decide not to go down to the basement this time?
I don't know. I guess it was God's will.
The enemy struck civilian infrastructure. Several suburban villages as well as areas within the region were affected. Windows were shattered in residential houses, roofs were broken through, and outbuildings were damaged. In Ivano-Frankivsk, as a result of falling debris, production warehouses caught fire over an area of more than 300 square meters, as well as garages with cars in a private cooperative.
It was burning pretty badly here. There was a bang. We hid, so I don't really know.
Were you here at the scene?
No, not here. I was at home. I live nearby, so I could hear everything, but I didn't look.
Commissions are already going through the damaged houses and apartments, assessing the losses. Material assistance has been promised to those affected. By the way, the fragments of the downed shahids also fell in the fields. The OVA reports that the relevant services are currently collecting them. People are urged not to pick them up if they are found, as it is dangerous. Alapaz, Roman Hushchyk, for Carpathia, TSN 1+1.